Hello and welcome to the cabin of the new Leapmotor C10. So Leapmotor is a brand new Chinese car brand that's entered the Irish market. They're starting to build a presence of dealers here around the country, and they're starting off with three models. So the T03, which is an electric city car, then there's the B10 compact SUV that's just arrived, and then this, which is the C10, and it's a bigger SUV, so it rivals things like Skoda Enyaq, Kia EV5 and Tesla Model Y. There are two trim levels and one battery. So it's a 69.9 kilowatt hour LFP battery, range up to 420 kilometers. And two trims, style and design. So the style retails from just under €40,000 and it's a well-equipped car, and for just €1,500 more you can have the fully loaded design, which is like this car, and that's €41,500, and that's your C10 range in Ireland. So it is a lot of car for the money. Now granted, rivals offer bigger battery versions with more range. So for example, the Model Y can tip 600 kilometers. The Enyaq 85 is up at about 570 kilometers. But if this is all the range you actually need for maybe daily commutes, then this could actually work out as a bit of a bargain. Inside, it's actually very well appointed, so you can get this brown interior or a black interior. This is perhaps a bit loud, and it's probably more terracotta than brown, so I'd probably stick to the black, but many buyers will actually really like this, and the seats are really lovely and soft and squishy. You just kind of melt into them, which is very nice. They're also heated and ventilated in this top-of-the-line design model. Very minimalist interior, definitely very much inspired by the Tesla cars, the Model 3 and the Model Y, even the steering wheel design and the buttons. But you do get a digital driver display in front of you, and of course this big portrait style touchscreen that controls pretty much all of the car's features. So this is what the screen looks like in the C10. You can change that background image. There's a few of them stored on it as well. You do have this row of, I suppose, shortcut buttons underneath. So this is the home button. This one brings up apps. So you do have Spotify that you can log into, because this car doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Tesla doesn't either, and it doesn't really get criticised that much for it, so it doesn't seem fair to criticise this one for it either, but just something to know that you're not going to be able to log in. It is meant to come as an over-the-air update, but just for now it's not there. So you do obviously have Bluetooth, you can listen to your music through that, and it does have its own maps and navigation. This is a shortcut button that you can customize, so you could have it, for example, for the ADAS features, to turn those off quickly. So that's useful, and you can customize that through the screen. This one also has ambient lighting that does different things, which I discovered as I was driving this car this week. So for example, when I plugged in to charge it, it started pulsing green, which it was dark at the time, so my eyes needed a rest, so I found that a bit much, but you can actually just turn that off from a menu in the screen. The other thing I noticed was when I was reversing the car, the first few times I did that, the ambient lighting was pulsing as I was reversing, so I wasn't keen on that. It was a bit distracting, but again, I was able to just turn it off in the screen. One thing that I can't seem to turn off or adjust is that every time you open the driver's door, the indicator goes on, and I presume it's to warn people or cyclists that you're going to open your door, but that's probably a little bit annoying for me. There is no start button for this car, so basically you just put it in forward or reverse to get going, but to do that you need to place this on this panel, and then you can put it into forward or reverse, and then that's done. Then this actually doubles up as a wireless smartphone charging pad. So you can use that then for charging. You have your cup holders, And underneath there is a USB-A port, but there's also a USB-C port, and there's a little bit more space. Space is actually really good in this car. You also have space under this centre armrest. Got my baby wipes in there. It's always handy to have baby wipes in a car. They all come with this panoramic screen, and if you press that, if you keep your finger on it, it opens and closes the blind. The drive is not entirely perfect, so the steering is very light. Now, you do have a few different drive modes that you can adjust. You pull down on the screen and you can open up your menu. You have Eco, Comfort, Sport and a customized setting. So in the Sport mode, the steering does firm up a little bit, but it feels more artificially heavy and notchy. So I didn't find that particularly nice. So I'm pretty much just leaving it in the Comfort mode. But I will say that the steering is light, which does make it very manoeuvrable all the same. And it's got quite a nice relaxed character. So the suspension is soft as you're just cruising along, but it's not perfect either, because I found the rear suspension going over little bumps or crevices in the tarmac, it can be a little bit noisy and firm. So I wasn't so keen on that, but generally it's a relaxed driving character. Nobody drives these for cutting edge performance. You get 218 horsepower, 320 newton meters of torque, and 0 to 100 is 7.5 seconds. So it's actually really very quick when you do put your foot down. No problem getting away from traffic lights or doing any overtaking maneuvers. It's got more than enough power for a family SUV like this. A little bit of road noise that you can probably hear as well, but generally the cabin is refined when you're out cruising. It's not too loud. The other thing I'm not so keen on with the car is the brakes are very grabby, particularly when you're coming to a stop. If you're in traffic or coming up to a roundabout, just really sharp, and you don't get that lovely, smooth, modular feeling. It's just very grabby, so that definitely could be tweaked. Charging speeds are not amazing, so the DC charge rate is 84 kilowatt, which is really off the pace. Now, you're going to notice that more if you are stopping at public chargers. At home, it's not going to be a big deal at all. You get 11 kilowatt AC, and it does have vehicle to load capability with a special adapter. But the 84 kilowatt DC is not great if you do a lot of motorway driving and you need to stop at those fast chargers on the motorway. So 10 to 80% in probably 40 minutes or more. So 30 minutes is sort of the industry standard for that, so it could be a lot better. That's the only real downside. Generally, I found driving on rural roads, the ADAS didn't cause me a problem, but when I did set the cruise control, the adaptive cruise control out on the motorway, I just found it wasn't an entirely smooth experience, the way it slows down and speeds up as it would be in other cars. So that does need a little bit of work to finesse it. But after living with the car for a week, I like it more now than I would have on my first impressions of the car. Initially, I would have been a little bit overwhelmed by the screen, but once you sit down and go through the menus and turn off some of the annoying features, then it's actually pretty good. Efficiency is also a strong point. So this is a big car, and I'm averaging about 17.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and I've done motorway as well in this. So from the battery, the 69.9 kilowatt hour usable, you're looking at 400 kilometers if I was to continue at this trajectory. So I thought that was very impressive, because a big car, you've got oceans of space in the back, really good legroom, ISOFIX on the two outer seats, an armrest, and the cup holders are actually in the centerpiece, they're not in the armrest. There's also vents. The boot is 435 litres, so when you look at that volume figure, it's, let's say, not as big as the Skoda Enyaq, but it's actually really big usable space It's very practical, and it also has very handy features like underfloor storage. So again, I think it will suit a lot of people in terms of the space it offers. So there's certainly a lot to like about the Leapmotor C10, a car that I really did have to spend time with to discover its quirks and features, but I've been getting on well with it ever since. So that's all from the cabin of the Leapmotor C10. I just wanted to give you a little flavour of this car. Overall, I like it. I like its relaxed character. Okay, the suspension probably needs a teeny bit of work, and the steering is overly light, I would say. But as a value proposition, the fact that it's a very well equipped car for about €41,500, it's an efficient car, you will get close to the claimed range in it, and that it's huge as well inside and the boot. I think it's going to offer a lot of value to Middle Ireland who buys these sorts of cars to bring their family around in. You can read more over on changinglanes.ie. I left a link in the description below the video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.